So hello again, this is my second YouTube video based around Zwift riding. This was a group ride that I participated in with somebody by the name of Matt King. Matt King is a gentleman who's on YouTube, and he is trying to experience a target of 2.5 on Zwift, which will make sense to anybody who's watching this video who's a Zwift rider, which I'm assuming would be the main reason for you watching it. So this ride here that we're watching now took place about 2 weeks ago, and it was a handicap race where everybody had to alter their weight based around their FTP, their power output that they've managed to achieve. So by dividing their weight into their FTP would then create a wattage per kilogram of 2.5, which is what Matt is attempting to do in his fitness regime. So here we can see the start of the race, and what's good about all of the races that we tend to have with Matt King is that there's a good group of people who are of a similar ability. We also have A, B, C's and D's, and what Matt chooses to do normally is to split the starts so that the A's are starting 3 minutes behind, the B's start 2 minutes behind, and the C's start a minute behind. And then it's just a short little sprint, and we hope to get everybody over the finish line at a similar time, and it's quite competitive and quite good fun really. But as I said, in this race we're all handicaps, we've all altered our weights, so you can see within this race we've got some C's right up at the start with us already, and I think there was about 15 people in the group initially. So what you'll notice here on the incline is the difference the new data has made to people's riding ability, and you'll see that the group becomes quite stretched by the time we get to the top. I found it quite a struggle. I didn't alter my weight by too much because I normally ride around 2.5 watts per kilogram, but for some people it made a considerable difference, and the group became quite stretched on each of the hills, and that was the first of the hills that we've come across in the race so far, and it did happen most times on all of the inclines. You can see that Matt out front has really stretched the gap, but it doesn't really benefit him by being out on his own, because he then has the loss of drafting, so he has to work harder now whilst he's out on his own. So I find by being able to sit in the rest of the group helps considerably with being able to put out less power but still keeping with the group. So you can see again on that slight incline, everyone's splitting the groups, having to work harder. People at the back were trying to work harder to catch up, and it takes a while for the group to settle down. I think we're down to about 8-10 people now, of varying abilities, but all because of the what data they've inputted into the game. We're all working at a similar watts per kilogram. So we're down to 8 riders now, 8 in the final group. Everyone thinking tactics, everyone thinking about how they can break away from the group or work on how to lose a couple of people from the group. That's certainly my ploy anyway. My number one idea and thought though in my head is just staying with the group, save that energy for the end. So we fast forwarded a little bit now, nothing really happened much, the group just stayed together, everyone working quite hard and nicely together. It looks like there's a slight split here, but it soon sorts itself back out again and the group prepares for the next incline. So this is the most important part of the race here now, where we see Eric, our Group A rider. He's down as a Group C, but he is predominantly a Group A rider and usual favourite for most of the week's races. He'll easily catch us on the handicap races where he starts 3 minutes behind, and he makes a break for it here. He did mention afterwards in one of the Facebook posts that the group are part of that if somebody had stayed with him they would have kept hold of him, but I certainly couldn't, and as you can see from the clip here, I'm second in the group trying to catch him, and I just couldn't get back to him, and there is a draft in effect that you benefit from, so if you can catch hold of somebody then great, but I was thinking at this point he's gone. I need to slow it down a little bit and use the draft from the other people who are also chasing. So I'm going to try and recreate Eric's move now and put a good push in. You can see that I'm 2.0 watts per kilogram here. I'm going to work up the hill and see if I can make that gap and see if I can push to the end. We've only got half a K to the finish, so let's go for it. I'm up to 5.8 watts per kilogram now, and you'll see that that effort is paying dividends by the time I get to the hill. S Little's chasing me. He does keep with me, and I'm looking constantly at the clock, seeing if my gap is widening or not. I can see that I'm up to 2 seconds now, so I'm thinking I've lost them. I'm still putting in a good effort for somebody who's 2.5 watts per kilogram rider, but then I know also that this isn't going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to manage this until the end. There's only 0.3 to go. I'm conscious that people are catching behind, and I'm holding on basically. So last 100 metres or so, you can see that Petter goes past, and then also Seawaring. I don't know really what happened with the timings, because you'll see when the timings came in, although Seawaring was ahead of me, it actually comes up as me being third and him being fourth. And then even more oddly, when I looked at Zwift Power later on, it actually had me ahead of PMAC as well, Petter. So I don't know why that was, but I'll take a second, even though that was not how it looked as I went across the line. But it was, all in all, it was a really good race. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was nice, I like a nice competitive ride. Matt himself, who organised the group ride, he finished in his highest place in 7th. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. It's my second video. I know not many people are watching at the moment. Hopefully it'll gain a little bit more interest. I will try and be a bit more selfish about it and start telling people about my videos that I'm producing on some of the Facebook group chats. So hopefully some of them will be seen by more people sooner or later, because they are quite enjoyable to watch. Not my videos, just videos in general on Zwift and YouTube. Okay, speak to you again soon, and bye for now.